Welcome to this season of the Broadway Podcast, where here we give you a more real-time point of view of people who work, interact, and entertain here in Broadway, Nashville. We get the opportunity to provide hot gossip, but we also take the opportunity to provide a more positive outlook on people who call Nashville their home. Ride with us as we take you down a trip on Broadway.
This is the life we choose, life we choose. And honestly, I wouldn't want it any other way. I've been doing just fine, alright now. This is the life we choose. This is the life we choose.
Welcome, Bryan.
Good to be here.
I almost called you Brandon. Welcome.
I was almost a Brennan.
You was almost a Brandon?
Yeah, so my parents were going to name me, and then the nurse said I looked like a Ryan. But Bryan was like on number 4 on their list. They're like, all right, we'll go with Bryan.
Well, we're going to go with Bryan today. Well, welcome to my show. I'm really happy to have you here, man.
Yeah, man.
Like we said earlier, it's been a long time since we really got to see each other in person.
Yeah.
How's life been since the last time I seen you?
Dude, life has been good. It's been crazy, but in the best way possible.
Yeah.
But I've been very busy, which is good because it keeps me out of trouble. But yeah, just getting back into my music and working a lot, sleeping very little, but having a blast. So
That's awesome. So I've noticed that you've been playing at a lot of venues
Yeah.
downtown. What brought you to Nashville playing music, and how'd you get the gigs you got going on now?
Well, originally, I moved here in 2018 to be a musician, try to make it big, all that stuff. And then just kind of got caught up living life and paying bills and working jobs and fell out of music for a few years. And then, I don't know, it all just kind of came full circle. I bar-backed downtown for a while, got to know a lot of the musicians, and then they started calling me and being like, hey, you play too, don't you? You want to join me for this gig? And I started just picking up any gig I was offered, and it's just kind of taken off like a snowball effect,
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised because the last time I saw you, we were working together. Well, not together, but close in proximity out in Franklin, and you were kind of doing something totally different from what you're doing now, which I really kind of want to get into because I feel like the service industry kind of brings us together in a certain way.
Oh, yeah.
And then it kind of disconnects us and then brings us back together again. Right. We were out in Franklin and you were cooking at this place that no longer exists anymore called Old School. Yep. And we'll give them some kind of gratitude for, us meeting. But explain to me your transition, what brought you to come to the mindset of being you know what, I'm really going to put my life into my music again.
Yeah, honestly, I've kind of had that mindset since I was in high school. I knew probably when I was 15, 16, I'm going to do music. I'm not going to go to college and do the, conventional way of life. But so as soon as I turned 18 and my buddy I moved down here with, great guy, he went to school for music management and he finished his degree. He was a few years older and he was like, hey, I'm graduating. Do you want to move somewhere and kind of give this a shot? So we're like, all right, let's go to Nashville. And I'm grateful I did because I was young and naive enough that I was willing to take that leap of faith. But now I wouldn't be able to do something like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But then I didn't even think about a job. I had no job. I just moved down here and was we'll figure it out. And it's obviously changed my life for the best. So yeah, that was always kind of in my head. And then what's funny, where we met at Old School, I went in there for an open mic night and they were like, hey, oh, you just moved here a week ago. Do you have a job yet? And I was like, no. And they're like, do you want to cook? And I was like, I guess. I didn't even know how to flip a burger, but I was like, I got to pay my rent. They're like, all right, we'll see you tomorrow at 8 a.m. And I was like, okay. And then that's how that started. And then just kind of, grew from there. I met people. I met you. And,
yeah.
It really, I don't know. It's such a cool experience just how life just unfolds that way.
Were you performing at Old School too?
So even that, they knew I played music, so any open gig, anytime they didn't have someone on the stage, they'd let me go up there, even if I was working. If it was slow, they'd be like, hey, grab the guitar, go sing. And I was like, all right. And then we kind of like naturally formed this like house band where the sound guy Joe played the drums, one of the regulars PJ played the bass, and then another guy who came in there, Matt, played guitar. So we were like, hey, do you want to play Monday night? We all just showed up, and it was basically like a paid rehearsal on a stage. Yeah. But it was really cool because it's like we formed this band in the most organic way possible.
That's awesome. Yeah. And then that led you to come to Nashville. So how'd you end up getting out of Franklin and moving into Nashville and then to the music scene in Nashville?
So Old School inevitably closed and got shut down. So I was unemployed for like a month, and I was just looking at like jobs on Indeed, and I found a spot at a hotel bar as like a bar back, and that was my first job downtown. And then, yeah, just like met people from there. Eventually got on Broadway, was barbacking there for a few years. But yeah, I'd always heard it was good money downtown. So I was like, I just need to like get my foot in the door.
Right.
And then that kind of happened. And then, you know, the music came along with it. But
I always said to myself that like when you bartend or even do music, I think that like downtown Nashville is like the pinnacle for, at least in this region of the country, for like making money. Yeah. And to that degree it is, you know, like even though sometimes it's a little wavy as far as like the money income, but like it's still like the pinnacle, I feel like, for like music and entertainment.
Oh yeah.
And for bartending. But what's funny is that like when I met you in Franklin, like I didn't even think that like we were like really close or anything like that. How old were you when you were in Franklin?
I was 21, I think. Yeah 21. And then yeah, I mean, I'm 26 now, so that was, 5-6 years ago.
Damn,
that's
like,
crazy.
It seems like yesterday, though, for real.
I know.
Like, we went from, like, seeing each other, like, almost every weekend in Franklin, and then, like, going, I didn't see you for years, and then all of a sudden I just saw you. Like, the last time I saw you was, like, maybe out somewhere, and I think mutual friends were hanging out. I think we were working at...
I think you came into my work.
I did, and I was like, oh, my God, I know you.
Yeah.
And then we kind of disconnected again, and then I saw you doing music. I was like, oh, man, I got to have this guy on my podcast.
Yeah.
So I want to know what he's been doing, what's been up. Where'd you get your like break from? Like what happened to you to where you got the call or the nod to say, hey, you can perform at these
start
venues?
Playing?
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm gonna say his name. I mean, if we have to edit it, but Bryan Thomas, man, I like owe my life to this guy. He's a great guy. He was singing at the bar I was working at, and we just became buds every morning. I'd be like, hey, what's up, man? And like over time, kind of mentioned to him that I played music, and he was like, I want to get you on a stage. And he would text me periodically, but this is when I was still working a lot on Broadway, and I was never able to. It was like, sorry, man, I'm already at work. Like, I can't swing it. But he started reaching out again like this spring, and I was just like, I have to be there. Like, I don't care if I have to call out of work or whatever. And so I started picking up these gigs, and I was, you know, fortunately I live downtown, so like I was very close, and you know, started to be pretty reliable on short notice if people would call out and stuff. And so he kept throwing gigs at me. I kept saying yes, and I don't know. I guess it just kind of went from there.
I mean, it's hard to invest in yourself in Nashville when you have to make money and then you have to pay bills.
It is.
And then, like, for instance, like you had like the opportunity to like start singing at gigs, and you had to like turn them down for a second because you're like, I don't have the time to like do something for free or like potentially like lose money doing it. What made you feel like said, you know what, fuck it, I'm just going to do it. Like, you have to sometimes invest in yourself and just like kind of take a chance. Like,
yeah, dude, I think it's just like before we started, I was kind of saying like I got out of the music for a few years, and like there was always that like a sleeping giant within me that like I wanted to get back into it and wanted to do it, but I just didn't have the passion. I didn't have the motivation. I needed that like kick in the ass to get me going, and that was Bryan for me. That he was just like, he was persistent, kept me like, dude, we're gonna get you on a stage. Yeah. And I remember my first gig I played that I took from him. This was back in April. I hadn't, you know, played on a stage in Nashville in years, and I hadn't even like touched my guitar in like months, besides like playing in my bedroom. And so I'm trying to remember songs I used to play. And like an hour in, I was like, this is going terrible. Like, I should not have done this. Like, I don't have it anymore. Like, what am I doing? And then a couple, you know, Olivia and Sierra, two really good friends of mine, they showed up unannounced. They didn't even tell me they were coming, and they came in, immediately brought me a shot of tequila, my favorite tequila, Casamigos Repo. And then I was like, okay, like if they took the time out of their day to be here, I'm gonna do my best. And then like I started to kind of get it after that. But But yeah, those first few gigs, man, it was definitely like I just blindly said yes, but I was just like, what am I doing?
Well, it's hard to like get back in the swing of things, like especially when like you put everything down and start investing in like living in Nashville,
Yes.
opposed to like living your dreams in Nashville. Because
Yeah.
I think that's like the gift and the curse here. Like you can kind of get here and like have so much fun and just forget the purpose of why you're here.
Sure.
But you have to like dust off the cobwebs of the guitar and like
Yes.
start performing. What's some experience have you had since you've been performing downtown?
Dude, every day's like it's so unique, man, and I remind myself like just how privileged I am to do what I do, because even if I'm playing for a room, I think you could say this about bartending too. Even if it's a slow day and you're like, man, I'm not making any money, and I'm playing for an audience of 5 people, it's like, well, those 5 people spent a lot of money to come to Nashville, and this might be the only time they come here, and they might have been looking forward to this trip for months. And so, I don't want to just go through the motions. I want to do my best to make their experience the best it can be, so they can go home and be like, I went to whatever bar and this guy sang my favorite song, and like, that's what it's all about. Like, we're very lucky to do what we do and live in a city like this and create those experiences.
I totally agree. I was telling somebody last week about how people coming to Nashville from all over the world, and like it's our jobs as bartenders and entertainment to like make their experience like the best it could be or whatever.
Yes.
And it really kind of takes like patience to like have that mentality to understand like people came here to see and feel Nashville, and like we're a part of that sensation. Yeah,
for sure. And it's easy, like, we're only human. It's still a job to us, so it's easy to clock in and just be like, I don't want to be here today. Yeah. But it could be worse. We could be working
we could definitely be working in a worse place. I feel like out of all the places I've worked in Nashville, and even I do have my hangups with a lot of things, but like they're very like low scale problems. I feel like since I've gotten downtown, like my life has changed for the better.
Yeah.
And all of my friendships have changed for the better.
Yes.
And because like I'm happier, I'm in a happier setting. What's life like now for you as far as like a musician is concerned, like living the lifestyle as a musician on Broadway? Like how is that like in real time?
Dude, it's chaotic because I still work too.
Yeah.
I still do bar back. So it's like, for example, like Saturday, I woke up, I played a gig 11 to 2. An hour before I was done, they text me like, do you want to play 2 to 6? I was like, yeah, sure, why not? And they're like, all right, find a band. So then I'm like on the phone, book another gig, and then I go into work 7 to 3. So I had like a 17-hour nonstop day of like 7 hours of singing, 9 hours of work, whatever. But dude, it's so cool because like I don't know what I'm doing next week.
Yeah.
But it's gonna unfold naturally.
That sounds
and it's gonna
so
be
chaotic.
a crazy week, and it's gonna be so much fun. But
yeah.
I don't know. I like that lifestyle, I guess.
Have you gotten into any problems since you've been in this chaotic lifestyle? Because like the partying scene is heavy, especially when you're an artist or like a musician downtown. Every girl wants to know who the musician is, and I feel like you can get kind of caught up in like
you can, yeah. Honestly, no. I think because I'm so busy that I don't have time to get into trouble. Like, yes, there are days that some drunk girl leaves her phone number in the tip jar or whatever, but it's like, I'm going to work after this. Like,
for sure.
I mean? And I'm pretty, as much as I like to like have my fun and all that, I'm pretty like focused on, what I'm doing and like what I'm here for. And so I have my drunken nights for sure, but nothing that's
we all have our drunken nights for sure. I was talking to Michael last week, and I was like, how is it like when you're a solo artist and you don't have a band? Because he also doesn't have a band either.
Okay.
Sorry, Zach. And he doesn't have a band either. And how difficult is that? Like when you have to like do a last minute gig, be able to have to call somebody to be able to fill in for you.
It's easier now because I've played with a lot of people. So I have like a roster of like 20 singers, and I normally like play with the same people over and over. But so I have a roster of like 20 singers, 20 drummers. At this stage, I'm only playing trios, so I don't really need guitar players or bass players. But yeah, it can be tough, but like also it's like we all work as a team. We all help each other out. So like I might call someone and be like, hey dude, can you play in an hour? And they're like, no, I already have a gig, but I'll start texting people for you.
Right.
And then, I've never not filled a gig so far.
Hell yeah.
Knock on wood, but
hell yeah. And also like, let's switch it up a little bit, because I also kind of have opinions about the music that is played downtown.
Sure.
And like I said to my friend,
this is interesting.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I told my friend last week, I was like, you know what? We have good musicians and we have good music, and Nashville's a very good music scene. But like, do you think it gets a little repetitive?
Oh yeah. Are you kidding? Like the amount of times I have to sing Wagon Wheel and Chicken Fried and
Yeah.
like, and don't get me wrong, like again, that's where I try to like keep in mind that this might be their first time hearing Wagon
Right.
Wheel in Nashville, even if I've played it 10 times this week.
Right.
So that's why like when I say like, you know, give us requests, challenge us, it's not just like trying to field tips or whatever. It's like it makes it fun for us
Yeah.
to like play a song I've never played before and then go listen to it and be like, I think I could do it.
Right.
And
But
then-
also, like, even with them, like, wanting to hear those classic songs,
Yeah.
and you're saying, like, they give them the authentic, you know, version of Nashville, this, just because it's their first time here, it's also that could be their last time hearing you sing. So, like, why would you not want to, like, kind of reinvent the wheel a little bit? You know what
That's
I mean?
a very good point. And I try to do that. I mean, I don't think you've ever been working when I've been singing, but like I intentionally try to sing songs that you don't normally hear on Broadway.
Yeah.
Like, yes, I can do the Wagon Wheel and the Chicken Fried and the, you know, Johnny Cash and all that, but I try to do more, you know, like Maroon 5 or like some, I don't know, John Mayer. I do a lot of John Mayer.
I love
John
that.
Mayer.
What's your inspiration? What genre would you say describes like your music, like personal?
Yeah, like the stuff I write. I would say it's kind of up that alley of what I just mentioned. Like it's like, I don't know, alternative pop. Like kind of like think Maroon 5 20 years ago.
Okay.
You know, I know pop
Definitely
music
hit.
now is more like electronic and,
Yeah.
and weird noises and stuff, but it's like, I don't want to, there's a little bit of country in it, I guess, because
Yeah.
it's, you know, it's in Nashville and that's kind of like the genre I started playing in, but, you know, there's not like banjos in my songs. So it's
Right. Do they give you the opportunity to be able to play like
like originals.
personal and original music?
I mean, I guess we're technically allowed to play whatever we want.
Yeah.
I give the people what they want to hear, but every
Right.
now and then people will say, "Do you want to like? Will you play one of your own songs?" And I love that. That's awesome. People want to hear that.
Now, do you have a favorite venue you like to play at? Or like, do you have like a venue in mind that you'd want to play at, like your biggest, if you had a choice, like
Yeah.
where would you want to play like all the time consistently?
Can I say the name?
I mean, yeah, I don't
Yeah,
care.
no. Luke Bryan's main stage.
Yeah, and why
Yeah.
is that?
Cause the setting is like, I mean, you've been there. They're forced to watch you. It's an
Yeah.
intimate setting. Like rooftops are fun, man. But
Yeah.
rooftops, everyone just walks outside, drinking their beer, and they hear you, but you're kind of just like the radio.
Yeah, the background noise.
And
or
so
whatever.
it can be tough to get the crowd. If you have a packed house, yeah, people are gonna be in front of you. But
Yeah.
if it's like, you know, a morning shift and people are just coming up, they're just like, hi, and, you know, walk out to the roof
That's
and make their
true.
lap, get their drink, and go back downstairs or whatever.
Yeah.
But
Nah,
Luke's, it's like you show up and you're just like 50 people staring at you. It's like, hello, good morning, how we doing?
right, and you kind of feel superior too, because isn't their stage like kind of set up high a little
Dude,
bit?
that's so funny you said that because I was thinking about this yesterday because I played there yesterday.
Yeah.
I played there Saturday too. God, we had 2 really good gigs. And it sounds like, I don't know, like kind of pretentious, but there is like a dynamic to that.
Yeah.
That like the higher the stage, the more you're like, I'm ready to perform. Like you're like on
Yeah.
a pedestal. Whereas like the lower stages, you're just kind of like, can you guys see me back here?
Right, and you don't want to feel like, I mean, to be honest, like you're the artist. Like when you go to like concerts in Nashville, the stage is usually relatively higher than
Yeah.
everybody else because I feel like that's an on purpose thing. I feel like you're supposed to be the center of attention,
Right.
and having a stage set up so high like that just forces the issue a little bit.
Yes.
So I feel like it is a superior kind of thing.
Dude, I'm so glad you made that observation because I
Yeah.
literally just thought about that all weekend when I was playing at Luke's. Because you're up there, people, even if they're going to the rooftop,
Right.
they walk by you and they're like, hey.
Exactly. It makes them feel a little uncomfortable. It's like, oh, damn, somebody's playing. Let me show some respect.
Right.
Opposed to like other venues I've been to, like the stage is almost damn near as level as
Yeah.
the restaurant floor. I'm like, well, no,
They
I
walk-
could just walk up the steps and like be right beside
Literally.
them. And like also, I kind of it makes you people not be able to get up there and like do stupid shit.
Right.
Because like we've been to bars before and
Which you're
people
not
like
allowed
all
to
on
do.
stage. I know, and people
That's
are all
like-
on stage, but you shouldn't also have that easy of access to get on the stage either.
Right. Dude,
Yeah.
and it'll happen every now and then. Like, dude, the other day, some random lady just literally climbed on stage and like posed for a photo. And it's like, you're in this weird situation where like, you
Right.
still want to be like, hey, we're having fun. But also like, I'm going to get fired, get off stage.
Right.
The worst is when kids do it because you feel so bad. But
Yeah.
like kids will like go on stage and their parents taking a photo, and I gotta like go to the dad and be like, "Hey man, they
They
can't
use
really
their
be up
kids.
there. They're kids. They don't mean harm. I'm not gonna get in trouble for
Yeah.
a kid crawling on the stage, but I gotta still politely be like, hey, let's
They
do the
probably
photo
use their
down here."
kids anyways, but hey, get up stage. They can't say anything to you. You're a kid. Get up stage.
Yeah,
Which
literally.
is bullshit.
Yeah.
Let's kind of switch gears a little bit too.
Yeah.
So I was talking about, because Nashville is a bunch of everything. Like it's not just music, it's not just bartending. It's also like we have regular lives here too, right?
Mhm.
And so like for me, I was talking to some friends about like how our dating scene is kind of like crazy and stuff like that. Do you have any like kind of like crazy dating scene like situations you've had that you can kind of elaborate on?
You know,
because everybody comes from out of town. Everybody's like,
yeah,
you know, it's kind of easy to like meet people when you're behind a bar and like, or you're on the stage. Like, I know
For
people
sure.
are always kind of coming at you.
I think I've just like been downtown long enough that I've learned not to play that game anymore. When I was bar backing more so, it was very easy to like fall in love with a girl for the weekend.
Yeah.
And then just be like, she's the one. And then she flies back to New Jersey on Sunday or wherever she's from.
Right.
And now I'm just like, all right, I'm not playing that game anymore. So yeah, I'm pretty good at steering clear of like the tourists for sure. And then as you know, like the stereotype in Nashville is like it's a tough city to date in.
Yeah, for sure. Or almost damn near impossible.
Damn near impossible.
Yeah. Well, I say that because I'll say that to say this. So there's a couple of situations that I've encountered this past week where, you know, we have like these like little websites and stuff that like kind of like warn you about certain people or or gives you like the scoop of like Nashville and all that.
Like,
and
are we dating the same guy in Nashville?
Exactly. Or like the scoop Nashville that like talks about
yeah.
all the things that all the drama and all the arrests and stuff like that. I kind of want to like get to that segment of it because I'm like, how do you feel about it? Because I was looking at some stuff last week about how like you literally get arrested in Nashville and then the next morning your entire bio is on the scoop. And I'm like, that should be kind of like illegal a little bit. Like, I don't like that at all.
Yeah, dude, I don't like it either.
It's a bad look for Nashville.
Like, to play devil's advocate, like, it's public information. So
for sure, yeah.
But it's also like, I just want to know the motherfucker. Can I say that? I just want to know the guy who runs that page.
Or whoever
I'm like,
helps run that
scumbag. Like, and he's probably got some skeletons in his closet. But it's like, I mean, I'm pretty sure he makes money off of this. Probably because people will pay to have their posts taken down and stuff.
Yeah.
So, but it's just like, I don't know. I just picture some guy in his mom's basement just like surfing the internet every morning for who got arrested. And it's like, dude, you know, sometimes, people deserve it. But also it's like, maybe you just like, you know, made a mistake and like had a rough night.
Well,
like,
for me, it's like I wonder because like that page has a lot of followers now. So like I wonder if people like that come into Nashville see that because like imagine. So that's what I'm getting to. Like it's not about like having that website up in Nashville because like sometimes those things are kind of needed.
Right.
But like for me, it's like I wonder if people who visit this city see that because at the end of the day, everything that happens in Nashville that gets on social media, that gets on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, goes viral.
Right.
And then people look at that, and over time, people are hesitant to come to our city because all they see is trash TV, trash TV,
that is
trash
a very
TV.
interesting
So
point.
that's what I was kind of trying to, you know, transition to that because with this podcast, it's like I was telling friends, like this is an opportunity for us to show a better side of Nashville.
Sure.
Because I feel like all the things we have available right now are just so like back page, you know.
Yes.
And like, and for instance, like the whole "Are we dating the same person?" website.
Yeah.
Or like the Nashville bar, don't go downtown don't go downtown if you want to have a good time in Nashville. And it's like, why are you shitting on our parade?
Dude, there's such a stigma about that. And I
is.
refuse to hop on that train where like locals will always be like, oh, I don't go to Broadway. And it's
But what do you always
cool.
hit up?
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, I didn't really go to Broadway either before I worked down there, you know, unless I had like family and friends in town. But when you actually go to Broadway, you're like, it's pretty damn cool.
It's so awesome.
It's like a very unique city and a very unique experience. There's a reason that people flood from all over the country, all over the world to come here. And so I hate that, like, that stigma of people being like, oh, I'm too good for Broadway.
Yeah.
It's like,
and I just hate it when I'm scrolling to my social media and I see things I hate about Nashville or things I hate about downtown bars or things I hate. I'm like, are you kidding me? Like,
okay,
you know
what page kind of pisses me off?
Which one?
Music Shitty.
I never heard of that one.
Okay, it's another one of those. And again, maybe they're lovely people who are on the page. But, like, that's like their whole page is just like, our city's such a clown show. And I'm like, okay, like, you know,
so
it ain't that bad.
It's not that bad at all. And like, you're also taking money out of our pockets. Because like, the more negative like media we get, the less attention we get to our bars. I even heard people like come to my bar and be like, oh, I heard you guys this, and this. I'm like, well, that actually didn't even happen here. It happened like 14 blocks down the street.
Right.
You know, because social media is such like, once you hear it at one place, it gets to you. By the time it gets to you, it's a whole different story.
Yes.
And that's what I was getting at with like the whole scoop thing. I'm like, all right. So like a lot of people I've seen on there, like I know are my friends.
Right. Yeah.
And like now they don't have jobs anymore.
Yeah, and you feel bad for them. You see the comments, and it's just like, dude.
Exactly. And we live in such a
there,
high concentrated drinking area.
Yes.
We're all seemingly alcoholics a little bit. So like we all like go out and hang out. Our lives involve around our bars and like hanging out with our friends. And like we all kind of live close to downtown.
Yes.
So like it's almost damn near impossible not to get caught up in stuff.
Yeah.
And it makes me kind of like, it puts a bad taste in my mouth for those kind of like things to like exist. And I kind of want to get an outside opinion on it, because you as a straight guy, you know, like the whole like, are we dating the same person thing?
Right.
How do you feel about that? Imagine if you was on that website.
Right. No, I see what you're saying. Like, yeah, I hope I haven't. I mean, I hope I haven't given anyone a reason to be on there. But yeah, I guess I would never know, because actually I'm not gonna obviously get into the details, but I know a guy I used to work with who was on there recently.
Yeah.
And my like female friends were showing me the post, and I was like, oh boy, like that's,
right, and that's so bad.
And like I get it, like I get like, you know, warning someone about a potential crazy, you know, partner or whatever,
or a predator or something like that.
Yeah, something like that for sure. But also it's like, are you just like mad at the guy and you're just like dragging his reputation? You know what I mean? It's the same dynamic as Scoop, like you said. Like
I just don't know how I feel about it. And also, there's nothing really you can do about it, because our laws here are so crazy. Like, you can like get recorded nowadays.
Can you really?
Yeah, so you can. So basically, I learned in like one of our meetings we had at work that you can get recorded and not know about it, and it's illegal in the state of Tennessee. So like, so for instance, if I was recording this whole entire podcast and like having it as blackmail, I could do that, and you couldn't do anything about it, basically.
Right.
So like these pages,
like a public setting. Or
I don't know what the legalities is, but I just know that's the thing.
What about recording voices?
What do you mean?
Like let's pretend that I was having a conversation with you and I was trying to secretly record you.
And
are you allowed to know that I'm recording you? Because there's
I don't think I have to know.
States.
I don't think I have to know.
That's what I was wondering, because I've heard that too. That I think different states have different laws, but I think this state, I could literally be like asking you incriminating shit and like have my voice memos going, and I don't have to tell you. But there's some states where you have to like tell someone.
I think but in Nashville, I think, or in Tennessee, I think that you don't have to tell anybody you're recording. And I feel like this state kind of protects the female like a lot.
Sure.
Which is fine, I guess, because like we all need protection, but like having these things like that can like really deface people's characters, like because like when you look at something like that as a tourist, for me, like we get back to Nashville. You look at things like that as like a person coming into town, you're like, damn, this city kind of sucks. Like, I can't trust anything. Like, you know, we have a big homeless problem too. Sure. So like you're walking around downtown like late at night after, you know, a 3-hour drinking night or whatever, or like a all night thing, and it's like 4 o'clock in the morning, and you're walking past like all these homeless people, and then you see people like getting arrested or throwing up all over the place, and like that gets broadcasted on social media, and it's like they never get to see the good side of it. And then I feel like over time, if we don't like help create a different like tune to Nashville,
you're right, man. I mean, that's like media in general. It's like, you know, there's not like, you know, breaking news at 7 p.m. like someone saved a puppy today. It's always bad shit, but no, I appreciate you know, to rope this in, that you're saying you started this podcast to show the brighter side of Nashville, because it's mainly good. It's mainly good, for sure. It's a great city. But I wouldn't live if it wasn't, you know? People like to talk about the bad stuff, and so it gets broadcast. But we're going to get back to the good stuff. And so like your music, are you writing music right now? Like what are you doing with Yes, I am. So I've always, like, that's like my true passion with music. I love doing the performing. It's fun to like play rock star for the day. Yeah. But I really just love writing songs. And back before I lived here, when I lived in Michigan, I was always writing songs. I wrote a lot of songs when I came here. I've recorded music. It's online and all that. But then during that kind of dead period, like I said, where I wasn't really into music, my writing fell off with it. But recently I've gotten baand it. Like I said, this man, Bryan Thomas, man, he's impacted my life. I like Bryan. Yeah, you know Bryan. Yeah, I like him. Dude, he's like the nicest guy. And I tell him all the time, like, bro, thank you. Like, you have changed my life. And I still don't even think he will ever comprehend how much he has. But just by like getting the ball rolling and playing my guitar again, being on stage, all of a sudden I find myself at home playing my piano and writing songs again. So I don't have anything like in the works, like songs coming out that I'm recording, but I'm just writing a lot of stuff and kind of trying to, you know, figure out my angle and my direction I want to go. Well, at least now the wheels are starting to turn again. Exactly. And that's really all that matters. Exactly. The motivation just to being in the thick of it and like actually being able to perform like on these main stages and stuff like that kind of like helps you with like your thought process, because we all go through like a drought of whatever our talents is. Like we have like a drought period, which isn't the worst thing in the world too, man. My buddy, he's one of my best friends. He lives in New York. He's like a writer, and he told me years ago, he's like, some quote he said that where he's like, sometimes it's okay to just live life. Like stop writing, stop doing your art, live life, so then you can go back to your art and you have something to write about. Oh shoot, sorry. Like, you know, fall in love, get your heart broken, and then you can write songs about that. If you're constantly just doing music every day, it's like, what am I going to write songs about singing? Right. You know what I mean? And so that's why where I used to dog myself for a while when I wasn't playing music for 2-3 years. I'm like, what am I doing? I'm wasting my passion, wasting my talent. But it's all come full circle. Like, I wouldn't be playing the gigs I'm playing now if not for living my life and working a job and meeting people like Bryan and this and that. So I don't know, man. It's been really cool. I never could have predicted this summer going this way, but I'm stoked that it has.
Hell yeah. So what happens next? So now we're getting close to fall and winter. And you know, we kind of like our seasons for working kind of like shifts a little bit. It gets a little slower. People stop traveling as much. And we're on election year too, so that can determine a lot of things going on. What happens next on the off season for you? Like, what do you see yourself doing, you know, for the better part of the rest of the year?
Traveling, hopefully.
Heck yeah, man.
Dude, I've been grinding all summer. And like I often go through like a period of like 40 days without a day off. Like right now I'm on like my 8th day in a row, and I don't think I have a day off for like 2 or 3 more weeks.
That's brutal.
But it's brutal, but like I said, it's fun. It's adventurous. It keeps me busy. But I do all this with, you know, I keep in mind that like, all right, wintertime, I'm gonna slow down. I like to snowboard a lot, so I'm like, I'm gonna go out west, you know, do some snowboarding, go see family and stuff. So work now, play later, you know.
Absolutely. So you have goals in mind, I'm assuming, for the music thing. Like, is Nashville your last stop, or do you think that you want to transition over to another, or, you know?
Musically, like, we were kind of talking about this before you got here. I don't even know what my goals are, man. Like I said, when I moved here, I was like, I'm going to make it big. I had that same dream that everyone had. And then you kind of get humbled. I'm just grateful to be on a stage and just be back into it. I don't know, like if something comes of it and, you know, someone picks up my songs or something, like, yeah, it'd be cool and I'm not opposed to it. But I'm also like, in some ways, I feel like I've already made it, man. I get to go sing downtown every single day for random people and make their day special. And like, that's a big blessing, you know? I
like that. Like, you have made it, especially from where we came from.
Yes.
We're both, I think, in better situations.
100%.
But it doesn't ever stop, you know?
It doesn't.
The music for me, for you, is something I feel like you're now getting back into the rhythm of and stuff like that.
Yes.
I would love to see more about like what happens in the next chapter. For me, I hope my podcast, you know, does the same thing.
Yeah.
Are you writing music for anybody? Are you like going to like studios and stuff like that?
No.
Studio sessions?
No, not at the time. And like I said, like right now, it's kind of like this summer's just the focus has been like getting the ball rolling again, just like reigniting that passion, you know, rejuvenating that spirit, which I think has been successful. I'm now thinking musically again. Like I hear a song on the radio and I'm like, oh, I could play that tomorrow.
Yeah.
Whereas that was just dead for a while. And so it all happens at once. Like, you know, that's why I go home and I write songs now, because I might play a song during a gig and hear some lyrics and be like, ooh, that gave me an idea to write about this or this and that. But yeah, so as far as like you know, writing and that kind of thing, I'm not really doing a whole lot with like, I'm not writing people's songs or I'm not doing any studio sessions, but really just performing, man, and trying to kind of find my sound again for writing, I guess. So
I feel that actually, because I feel like when you're in a drought and you weren't doing it for a while, I think now that you're like clocking in on a day-to-day basis, I feel like now you have a routine, and I kind of get it. Like, you don't want to rush too much at one time,
right?
So like you're just performing, getting your name out there.
Yes.
Have you been doing that as far as like social? I know you're on social media. I know you've been like doing a lot of like live streaming, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Explain to me like, what are you doing as far as getting your music out there? Like,
dude, I'm actually terrible at that. That is like my.
Oh my god, me too.
Yeah, and I feel like a lot of musicians are. We're all like, dude, I hate that we have to do this, but you have to post and like.
Yeah.
And I was actually told that I needed to post more, so I started posting more, kind of sarcastically.
Yeah.
I made a TikTok. I haven't posted on it yet. But
you have to.
I know. I know I have to. It's a part of the game. And again, like, there's worse jobs. I'm not trying to be like, boo-hoo, I have to post a TikTok video.
Yeah.
But it's just like, I don't know. That's not my thing. I wish I could like find someone who like that's their shtick.
Dude,
and
me
they
too.
could just like market my stuff for me.
Dude, same. Like, I was literally like, I've been asking around, like, can somebody please my marketing? Can somebody please my social media? And there are people like that.
You see these people who are so good at playing the social media games. I don't know how they do it.
I mean, I feel like I could be good at it. I just feel like I don't have time to be good at it.
Right.
So like, I feel like you could be good at it, but you just don't have time.
Yes.
Because like, I'm too busy setting up my week to week day.
Exactly.
You know, it's like that. You're too busy setting up gigs and stuff. I don't have time to spend 5 hours of my life doing the right algorithm on my TikTok,
focus
you know,
on content.
And then I'm like, then I get mad. I'm like, damn, I don't have like, it's not like I don't have enough views this week. I need to have more views.
Yeah.
And so like I find myself in like this like downward spiral of like social media.
Yes.
And then I look at my friends' social media. I'm like, they have all these like great posts. And like, well, I can do that.
That's your mistake. You can't look at them.
I know.
Man.
So we need to get a PR part. We need to get something.
We do. Yes.
And we should collaborate.
Yes, I know. We need to hire somebody. But dude, and that will drive you nuts. Like looking at the numbers and this and that. Because even just from like, I've put music out on Spotify and Apple Music, and like I've never had a song like blow up or anything. Obviously, like my friends listen to it, and you know, people will come to my gigs. Oh, you have music online? They'll go listen. But I don't have crazy streaming numbers where I'm hitting hundreds of thousands or millions. I'm like in the single thousands, which is fine. Like I'm grateful.
That's not bad though.
For every person who listens to my music. Yeah. But also, it's like that would drive me nuts. Where I would like do that same thing. That I would like put out a song, I'd promote it and be like, all right, here we go. It's release day, baby. Right. And then you get like 200 streams and then you start feeling like shit about yourself because you look over at your friend who just got 20,000 streams the first
for no reason.
Yeah, literally. And not even like dogging them. Maybe their song was great.
I'm dogging them. Fuck that. Because they'll literally post something just walking down the damn street and then get like 15,000 views because they did it the right way. Yes. And I'm like, dude, I just took 2 weeks out of my life to try to make sure everything is perfect. And I got 1,000 views. I'm like,
I think that like contributed to my, like, obviously we also had a world pandemic a few years ago, so like I think all these factors of like working, focusing on paying my bills, my music not doing very well online, and be like, why do I spend all this money to record and put all this effort in if it's just gonna, you know, flop? And then also a pandemic where we all just got laid off. That's kind of what like spiraled me into not doing music. But now, dude, I'm just like, I'm older and my goals are different, I guess, or lack thereof. Like I said, I don't really have an end goal with this. Now I'm like, if I want to put out a song tomorrow, I'm going to do it because I want to put it out for myself. I don't care if I get 200 streams or 200,000 streams. Like, I just want to put my music out there, and, you know, if I make one person's day, like, that's awesome.
Yeah. Man. I agree with that too, man, because I feel like I do sometimes get like too caught up in like what's going on outside of what I have going on. But then I realized, like, you know what, this is not about that. Like, this is something that I'm passionate about doing. I love doing it. Like, I feel like I was called to do it. And whenever it pops off, but it's going to pop off because it's genuinely popping off and not because I forced it.
Yes. And I think that's what works the best too, man, is like people crave authenticity. And so you can try to like fake it and make these social media posts and but if you're literally just yourself, like people like that shit. And like, you know, you look at other podcasts like Joe Rogan, right? He's the biggest voice in podcasting. And like, dude, at one point, like he said on his podcast, he's like, I used to just sit here with my friends and we'd be smoking weed and just joking. And we had like 10 people listening. We didn't care. Right. And then, so, you know, you can never really predict it, but as long as like you believe in what you're doing, I think other people will eventually catch on, of course,
gravitate towards that. I feel like even with artists, like I feel like I gravitate more towards artists I feel like are just like me. Like they're not like, they're not publicized as like these figures. They're like, you don't want some people. Cookie cutter industry. Exactly. Like when like Post came into town, we kicked it with him. Like he was he was like at Laney's. He was at like all these places, and he was like just chilling, kicking it. Like that's the kind of people like we gravitate towards, people we can relate to. And so I feel like having people like you.
He is such a good example because he is like that. Like I've never met him personally, but like I've see him as much as everyone else does online, and he genuinely just seems like that's him. He's just like a cool laid back
every single
dude,
time,
and like So
people like you, artists like you, are important for us to be able to broadcast like that because it's like people will like gravitate towards you more when they start to resonate like how you really live your life on a day-to-day basis. 100%. And you're not so like unattainable, you know. I like my artists to be able to be touched and filled, you know.
So maybe I should play on shorter stages.
No. The higher up the better, for sure. And that's why I was telling you, I was like, I just want to kick it with you today because like I said, like, I haven't been able to like see you or like talk to you for a very long time. I'm honored you're here, you know, and I'm honored to have you on my show.
I'm stoked to be here. This is awesome.
It's just cool to be able to just like see how your life has just like came full circle.
And likewise, man.
You were making burgers and hot dogs the last time I saw you.
If that's what you call it, I was learning on the job, man. I was
exactly. Now you're but just think about it. You're saying like you don't have an end goal, like you don't have like a end plan of like your music. But just think about the transition from what you've came from now. Like you were working in a kitchen in a nowhere place in Franklin, and you happen to meet some people that now you still know, and now you're performing on major stages in downtown Nashville.
Dude, I appreciate you saying that, because that puts it in perspective. It's easy to just like, just keep living your life, but and like you saying that is awesome. Also, like when you go home, like I'm from Michigan, I'll go home and talk to my friends, and they'll kind of put that in perspective for me too.
Right.
And like, I'm very lucky. I'm very blessed to be, we all are, to be living the life that we are.
Absolutely. So. And I commend you for that, because I love seeing a person who just like never stops.
Yeah.
And like, even though time and space like doesn't allow us to be like in each other's lives, but like knowing that you've worked since that time span and got to this point is just like kind of like very commendable, because
thank you.
Who else would I be able to do that who didn't have like a sound mind,
Sure.
And like just like you said, like I put the guitar down,
and
I kind of just like came to this conclusion. Same thing for me, like I just kind of like start living life and like only focused on like paying my bills and living day to day, and forgetting that like I have actual talents and like I have actual things to say, and let's put that into something.
And how much better has your life been since you started this podcast?
Well, my life has been better since I started working downtown.
Okay.
I just kind of used like what I was given to make it better and better and better.
But isn't it so exciting? Like now you have a passion project. Now you have something that when you go to bed at night, you're going to think about your next guest.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
You're thinking about, it's just, I don't know, man. Like, because I've been in those spaces where I'm not in a great place mentally, and I'm not chasing my passions and this and that. But like when you have something that you believe in, you just do it, and you don't know how it's going to work out, but you just get that ball rolling. Like, that's what it's all about, man.
It's been fun for sure. It's been a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And it's been actually great to like sit down with people that I haven't talked to in a while, or just like people I see but don't know them personally.
Yeah.
And just letting them like have a space to be able to talk about what's going on, and and giving them an opportunity to be able to like put their music or like put their whatever they have going on out socially.
Yeah.
Like even like my opening music is from somebody I know that I'm really close friends with here in Nashville. Just giving people like that space, I think is important, because like a lot of people that haven't made it yet don't get the opportunity to be able to like do stuff like this
100%.
And for free, especially like everybody wants to charge you for something, everybody wants to book you and and it's just kind of becomes like a competitive nature to like be successful, when success should just come natural.
Dude, that's a really good point. That kind of reminds me of like, it's really like any industry, but I remember before I moved here, I would like read online like what do I do when I get to Nashville, like how do you break into the industry, and everyone always says networking, right? Networking is the big thing. And when you go somewhere with the intention of networking, it's not really going to happen, because it's not organic, it's not natural. When you're like, I'm going to go here because I want to meet people, then it's like, okay, you're there to meet people, you're there to like progress your own career or whatever. But then as soon as I like stopped being like, I'm going to go network, and just naturally made friends organically, and then it all just comes full circle, where like you and me were sitting at old school years ago, and now I'm on your podcast, and it's like,
and I'm watching you from work perform.
Isn't
that crazy though? That is, if that's not full circle, I don't know what is.
I know, dude.
Like that is the epitome of what full circle is.
People want to help each other. Like we're all in this together. And even like, I'm going on a tangent here, but even like when I'm on stage, the bartenders are as important to the show as the singers are. And I like truly feel that way. That's why I always try to, if I don't know the bartenders, I ask them their name, like when I get my Liquid Death or my Red Bull, because I want to shout them out. And even if it's like, it is genuine, it might seem like I'm just kissing ass, but like I generally am like, yo, I'm here to sing and they're here to serve you drinks. We're all going to cumulatively make a party, and let's have some fun.
Exactly. And we are part of the show to a certain extent.
Yes, you are.
Because we're giving the people drinks and like making them stay, making them feel comfortable, because like you can have the best music on stage and have the shittiest bartenders, personality wise, not saying like and they're just giving this like dry kind of like, I'm just here,
it messes
to
with the
serve.
whole vibe.
It just, the vibe is off. And like I've gone to bars where like I'm like, wow, the music's good, the bartenders are vibing, people are kicking it, it's a good time. And I've also been in places where the music has been very good, but yet the venue itself is just kind of not, and it just kind of makes you not want to stay there.
And vice versa too. You could have like the greatest bartender with a bubbly personality, and the singer just like doesn't want to be there.
Exactly. And you can feel it, man. And that's like, and we have way too much of that commonly in Nashville, which like people don't see that from the outside looking in, because they're just visiting, and they're just like, their minds are just like flashing lights, music, big stage. But when you live here and you kind of get comfortable like knowing the area, like we both do, the personality level goes down when it comes to like having a good time at work. And I don't blame that necessarily on any particular thing.
No.
All factors, like we do work long hours. We do work under very stressful situations, et cetera, et cetera. But also, we're downtown Nashville.
Exactly.
There's bartenders that have killed to try to get downtown to work. Me being one of them, you know, and like we're just we have to make it a point to like be the people and the entities that we're supposed to be downtown.
100%.
Whether the venue or whatever hang-ups you have at your job, you know, like I feel like we just work at these big places that like have such opportunity to have fun at work.
Yes.
And it's important for us as musicians and bartenders and servers and stuff to be able to like provide that service for the guests, because after a while people get hip to that and they stop coming.
Yes.
And like, even though Nashville's a big tourist place, social media travels farther than anything.
That's very
and
true.
over time, if the consistency of knowing Nashville is this, that's what you're going to get. So I feel like it's very important for people like us to continuously share, you know, the positive experience so that we can always constantly keep making money.
I'm really enjoying like your perspectives on this stuff. You think about it very, it's like on a macro level. You're 100% right, and everything you're saying is so true. And I've never even thought about half this, but you're right. Like the way social media changes the perception of our city. No, those are all great points, man. And that kind of circles back to what I said in the beginning. Like I try to just remember every day, whether I'm working behind a bar or I'm on a stage, like this is a very unique position I'm in. Much like you said, you know, you killed to get to be a bartender on Broadway. 16-year-old me would look at 26-year-old me now and just be like, holy shit, you get to sing at, you know, whatever big stage every single day. And so it's just important to, you know, wake up and smell the coffee a little bit
and be happy about it. You know, like there's way worse situations we can be in. And I mean, I've lived in Tennessee for 10 years and I just started working downtown maybe like 3 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah, exactly. And I feel like it was just almost like I did myself a disservice because like I wasn't in a mental state to be working downtown back then. Like before COVID, I wasn't in like the mental capacity to be able to like be successful downtown. I would have never done a podcast 5 years ago working downtown. Because my mind wasn't where it needed to be. I feel like musicians are the same way. I feel like you guys would have never, like when I met you at Old School, you weren't ready to be downtown yet. And I feel like over time, once we started growing and getting to know each other's personalities and getting to know our own personalities, we're more successful in life in general. Your social, I want to get back to like how to find you on social media while we're wrapping up the show, so people can kind of find where you are. Are you putting your gigs out online or?
I do. I need to be a little better about it. When I was first playing, I would post every single day like an Instagram story, just be like, here I am till whatever time. I try to like Mondays make a post and be like, here's where I am this week. But the thing is, I pick up a lot of gigs, so that post isn't always like totally accurate. I'll go back and edit it, you know. But yes, if you want to find my gigs or my music, it's Bryan Schaffer Music. I'm sure you'll tag it in the videos and stuff.
I will, yeah.
But Bryan with a Y, Schaffer, Schaffer. That is also the same handle as my TikTok, which I have not made a post yet. But if you want to see my first ever TikTok post, that's where you can.
Maybe this can be your first TikTok post.
I think it might be.
I think it
has to be. Yes. Yeah. That's awesome.
Oh,
I actually had someone tag me on TikTok the other day.
Really?
Yeah. There was this like couple came in with like a little baby, and I started singing Baby Shark for him.
Oh, I saw that. Was that Laney's downstairs?
Yeah,
and the baby was like, he put the baby up on his shoulders. That was so cute.
Dude, it was awesome.
But see, you gotta use that though, because like even though we're old guys now, it's like social media is like the afterthought. But like things like that,
but
you gotta attach to it. Yeah, you gotta like keep.
That's
doing
why I'm glad,
like
because I didn't even know there was a video. So like I was playing a gig actually, ironically, at Laney's like a week later. And I got this notification, and it was like someone tagged you in a post on TikTok, and I was like, dude, I have like 7 followers on TikTok.
And that person had like 15,000 views on it and stuff.
Yeah, like it kind of blew up. Yeah. And I was like, who tagged me on TikTok? And I watched it, and I was like, no way. So I think I shared it on my Instagram. That's probably where you saw it.
I did. No, I saw it on. I think on your story, something like that.
Yeah.
But then that original video popped up on my actual For You page.
Oh, no way.
And I was like, what is going on? And so like I was scrolling. I was like, Bryan's famous on Instagram, because like I saw it and the person had like 16,000 followers, like 16.
Did they?
It was like a lot of views on it. I'm like, dude. Like, and then I saw it was actually somebody else.
Damn.
But that's what we getting back to the social media thing. Like it's so important. It's almost like a headache that is so important to be like good on social media.
Yes.
That's also why this podcast is important, because it's just kind of like free media, to be honest.
Yeah.
But social media is very important to our success in this industry.
We got to find our PR firm, man.
Yeah. I think that's our next goal, finding the PR. Who can be our PR person?
Help me market my first TikTok post of this podcast.
Hell yeah. Well, like I said, I appreciate you coming, man. I really would like to have you back when I see what's the next step. In
hopefully
life.
if I have more stuff going on, man, I'd love to come back.
And also tag us, like let us know what's going on.
I will, for sure.
Anytime you have a show, feel free to like shout us out or tag like what's going on for your next venues. I'll do the same for us on our end.
Once we wrap up here, I'm going to post something on Instagram.
So that we all can like get our communities together and like kind of
man.
support. Because if I'm off and I'm able to come see, actually I've never seen you perform, so I would love to come see you perform.
Dude, please do. I will. I mean, it's not really worth saying because it's going to air later, but I'll let you know where I'm playing this week. And
yeah, for sure. I would love that. I want, like me personally, I want to come see it.
100%.
So then I can kind of like see what you're about, because I've seen you like perform like your own music or like kind of sing like on like I think Instagram maybe or like on your stories, but like it didn't really give me justice because like now you're performing at like these big. I'm like, let me see what he's talking about, because I know it's kind of a different breed when you're performing at like say said bar downtown and you're having to like perform a set.
There is a whole nother element too. Like you can sing really well and play guitar well, but one thing that has been great about getting back into it this summer is now I'm learning how to actually be a performer. How to work a crowd. Obviously we have the same cliche jokes that you say every show.
Yeah, please, Shane. Can y'all do something about that, please?
I try to avoid them, man. I try to, but it's like some of it. That's how I feel about Wagon Wheel, man. Every time that someone asks to hear Wagon Wheel, the whole band looks at each other and rolls our eyes. God damn it again.
I hear the same stories every morning.
It gets the people going. They love Wagon Wheel.
That's true. And I forget that I'm like, they're not talking to us. They're talking to the guests. Because the guests are here. The different guests every day. Like there's different people here every day. Like we're the same bartenders that we hear every day. So we're like, can y'all please change it up?
I know because I was on that side of it. I was a barback on Broadway. So I would hear the same band make the same joke for the same song. And I was like, okay.
And I forget like they're not talking to us. They're talking to the guests.
So I try not to do it. Dude, I had someone call me out the other day that I play this song by Ed Sheeran, Dive. It's a great song.
Yeah.
But I always like intro it by being like, we got any Ed Sheeran fans in the house? And you'll get like a few claps. And go, we have any Luke Combs fans in the house? And everyone goes, hoorah.
Yeah.
And I go, all right, well, we're going to knock out two birds with one stone. I'm going to play Dive. It's an Ed Sheeran song, but Luke Combs covered it.
Yeah.
And then the other day, someone was like, oh, yeah, you say that every time before you play. And I was like, do I really?
You're becoming them.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, no. It's not a bad thing. Because I get it. Like
that song since now because I'm like scarred because of it. But.
Oh, my God. Because I'm like, every morning I'm like, I'm not going to even call this person out. But like, we have this one person that performs at our job. And I hear the same story about where he's from and like, so and so this, and I can't get into details. If I say what I want to say, they're gonna know who I'm talking about. But I'm like, gosh, man, like, can you please switch it up? But like, it's not for us, and that's what I'm saying. Like, even when we bartend, like, we have to remember, like, we're serving people who are here, like, people that come are like not the same people the next day. We don't work at like the local bars where like people come, the same people come out. We're entertaining people every single day. And people have to remember that, like, you're entertaining company, basically.
Yeah.
And so, like, when you're downstairs or upstairs on the rooftop performing, even me bartending upstairs, downstairs, I have to have some kind of, like, personality because these people are different every single day.
Yes.
And that's very important. I think it's funny, though. We laugh about it now, but...
Dude, it's funny, too. Like, so technically the gigs that I play, you're not allowed to play two gigs in a row on the same stage, but they'll send us off to different venues. And yesterday I was playing at a rooftop, and then they texted me, like I said earlier, an hour before, and we're like, do you want to play the first floor now? And so I literally just went downstairs and played another gig, and then you have people coming down, and then I'm like, oh, like, fuck, I can't play the same songs I played upstairs.
Right.
Like,
do you ever get embarrassed, like, when you see your friends walk past and like you're saying those like kind of like gimmicky stitches and stuff like that? Like, do you get it? Like, say for instance, I was walking past you and you gave this like story that I'm like, is he
and
really
you're like,
doing that?
I would probably smile and wink at you and be like, I'm doing the thing.
And I'll probably text you while you're on stage like, why the fuck are you?
Yeah, I know. Because at the end of the day, it's like, it's a performance. So,
that's true.
And honestly, I love when my friends are there. Every now and then my friends will just pop in and like it makes it so much more fun.
I'm kind of mad at you for not inviting me because like when I saw you at my job, I was like, oh great, you get to perform here, and I get to see you because you're on the rooftop. I was downstairs, but I'm like, can I get a notification? That's why I feel like you gotta let us know what's going on. No,
you're right. I'm bad about that, but I'm gonna start posting more on Instagram, and I also text you my schedule as it is right now, so you will have my next month of gigs, and I would love to.
Thank you. Yes. And when next time I see you on stage, you better be talking about my podcast because
I definitely will.
I need it. I need the help and
definitely
support.
will. What are you going to request?
I'm not gonna request any music from you.
No?
I'm gonna let you perform. I don't.
No, I want you to request.
Well, I
some music
mean,
from me.
I might, depending on the vibe. It depends on like
gun to your head. What are you requesting?
Ed Sheeran for sure.
Okay, there we go.
Yeah, I need something like that. Yeah, I want to hear your voice.
Yeah.
Because like for me, I'm a very like fan of music.
Sure.
And like country music, I love country music too. Like I always, people feel like I don't like country music because of what I say about it.
Yeah.
I love country music. First of all, it's like one of my favorite genres of music. I don't like what we have going on here as far as, because I mean, I'm hearing the same thing over and over again. It's like a brainwashing thing. But like, I love country music. And even if I had a choice of hearing a country song, it would be something like along the lines like something you never probably would have heard of before.
Dude, I actually love that too. That like, obviously we all like have this collective like eye roll of like, oh, like, you know, it's country music, like a bunch of rednecks. But also like, we also have like a respect for country music ingrained in all of us. For like, you'll see like
I don't correlate country music with rednecks though. That's not fair.
That's true, and maybe that was incorrect for me to say, but
I mean, I get what you're saying, but like for social media purposes, like I don't really clarify. I mean, for me, I feel like country music is country music, and whoever listens to it is whoever listens to it.
That's fair.
You know, but go ahead.
Well, no, I was just gonna say that like you could see some punk rock emo looking person who's like, I hate country, but like if they're at a bar at night and Johnny Cash comes on, they're gonna know every word and sing right along because it's like it's our culture of our city, man.
It's a classic too, man.
Yeah,
I mean, country music for me, I think resonates because it tells a story. Yeah. I think any good piece of music tells some kind of story, and it makes me resonate to it. But I want to hear you sing like an Ed Sheeran song. Yeah. Because I mean, for me, like I want to hear vocals. Like I said, I'm a very like very musical like person. Like I want to hear the vocals. I want to hear what you got. Like
Ed Sheeran lends that opportunity.
For sure, it does. And I will. That's probably what I request if I had to choose.
Thinking out loud, Ed Sheeran. That's what we'll play.
Absolutely, yes. I want to hear that because I think I've seen you perform at. I want to perform like sing karaoke. Yeah. How do you sing karaoke at Miss Kelly's? And I was like, oh, he can sing. I think I was a little tipsy probably, and I was like saying a bunch of like inappropriate shit I probably shouldn't be saying. But I'm like, oh, he can actually sing. This is hot, like, you know. Yeah. And so like now I'm kind of like curious to know what you got, you know. So so I want to see. So like, please let me know the next time you're out. Do you have anything going on this week? You know.
I do. Well, I mean, should I say it? Like,
yeah, I mean, you're performing there. I mean, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah. No, I'm playing at Tequila Cowboy tomorrow, which is Tuesday. Yeah. 10 to 2. I'm at Lenny Wilson's Wednesday, 11 to 2. And then I think Casa Rosa Sunday.
So tomorrow you're going to be at, you said TC?
Yep.
And then Laney's on Wednesday?
Laney's Wednesday, Casa Sunday.
I probably can stop in at TC.
Actually do it,
I'm
man.
off tomorrow.
That's normally like a slower gig because Tuesday's, a slow day of the week.
It's the slowest day of the week. Everybody goes out of town.
It literally is the slowest day of the week. And it's also a morning slot. So that's kind of like a paid practice kind of thing.
And also I can like relax and chill because exactly. we get tired of the crowd sometimes. I don't want to come see you on a Saturday night.
For sure. Like and I don't mind that gig. Like obviously it's like not like the biggest crowd, but it's like a set list builder. It's where like you can name a song I never played, and I'm like, well, no one's here.
Exactly.
Like,
so. I think that's a good opportunity to use that time slot for that. And I think I actually will show up. I might bring a little bit of a crowd with me, so it won't be too dull for you.
No, let's do it.
And I'm off tomorrow too, so like I don't really have anything going on. I might have a couple drinks, but 10 o'clock in the morning is kind of early. I might.
It is early. I mean, I'm there till 2, so like you don't got to be there the full 4 hours.
I'm not gonna be there. I'll probably get there I'm gonna probably get there around noonish, 12:30.
That's perfect, man.
Come hang out for a little bit and make it a good time. Yeah.
Dude, let's do it. Hell yeah.
Well, I appreciate you coming on the show, man. Dude, I really appreciate it. Awesome. Thanks for taking out the time for me. Like I said, make sure you get on those socials. Make sure you're sharing your locations.
Also, if you like want other musicians to come on here, like hit me up, man.
I would love that. I kind of wanted to get Joe on here. I don't know if you're close with him. Joe Barron. I like him a lot.
Yeah.
And even like your boy, I can get him on
Bryan,
here too. Yeah, we can collaborate on that.
Dude, I will talk. I mean, dude, Brian's a great guy. Super friendly. I'm sure he'd be a great guest. But
hell yeah.
All right, man.
Well, thanks again, man. Thank you.
This is the life we choose. Life we choose. And honestly, I wouldn't want it